Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I want to take some time out of your day to talk to you about this game. It is called Kodama. In Kodama, each person is playing a tree spirit who is trying to take care of their venerable tree that has all these different icons on it, like fireflies and mushrooms and flowers and stars and clouds and what have you. And basically what you're doing is you're trying to build like continuous like icons like on the tree, but also unlike a lot of games that are kind of like this where you're doing matching of symbols, you're building a tree. And so like think of a tree like the branches are, you know, wavy and goes back and forth like that. So that's what's happening. And so unlike a lot of games where you have cards and you're building cards together, you know, you're like just putting them together like this or like that, these cards are like fans, if you will, and like you're going to be building like a tree that is going to twist and turn and be very organic looking, and it's kind of fun building that tree as you play. It reminds me of which Karate Kid was with the bonsai trees, if I remember. Was that 3, 2? I don't remember. But regardless, so there you go. That is the theme of Kodama. So let me show you how to play Kodama, and then we'll come back here and we'll talk more about what I dig about the game. Alright, cool. Alright, this is Kodama. Let me show you how to play the game. Now, to begin the game, you're going to have all of these decree cards. Spring decrees, you're going to have summer decrees, and you're going to have fall decrees. Now, decrees are just what you might think. These are ways to, something that is going to govern, some sort of rule that's going to govern that particular season. So, like, here's one that says nurture. When you score fewer than 5 points, score 3 bonus points. So, things like that are just going to dictate what happens during that particular season. You're going to take one for each season. You're going to place those here to then flip them over as you begin the season, and then you're going to take the rest of these cards, you're going to put them away because they're not going to be used in this game. Then you're going to take these cards. These are the trunk cards. This is going to be the trunk of your tree. Each of them have a specific little descriptor. This is the star, that's the worm, that's the cloud, that's the flower, that is the mushroom, and that is the firefly. So you will shuffle these up, and you're going to give one to each person. So, and then, let's see what we get here. So, okay, we got the firefly, and so we're going to take that and we're going to place it, and technically what it says in the rules is to place this on the edge of the board, or edge of the table. So basically you can't like build down below it, otherwise your cards would fall off. That's to prevent you from like building branches that would go into the earth, if you will. I'm not going to put this on the edge of the table, but that is what you will do when you play the game at home. So then what you will do is you will take these cards. These are the Kodama cards. These are ways that each person can score some extra points. You're going to get 4 of these, and you're going to use 3 of them when you play the game. So each person is going to get 4. I'll just take the top 4 here. And then they have like some sort of descriptor that tells you what you can turn these in at the end of a season to score some bonus points. So here's one that says score 4 points for each firefly or mushroom within 2 cards of your trunk, whichever is lower. 4 for each caterpillar or cloud within 2 cards of your trunk, whichever is lower. 4 for each star or flower with 2 cards of your trunk, whichever is lower. And then score 5 for each card with your trunk's feature touching your trunk card. Alright, so let me just see here. Let me show you a couple other different types of cards, since I got a lot of those score 4 or more. So pick a card from your tree. Score 4 points for each card touching that card that has a mushroom on it. Or pick a card in your tree. Score 4 points for each card touching that card that has a flower on it. I really like this art too, and it is really cool that, like, you know, they actually went to the trouble of actually putting like the flowers on top of the dude's head. You know, and this is a card that scores flowers, if you will. So you have that one, and here's like choose a feature. Score 2 points for each time that feature appears on an end card, like the end of a branch, if you will. So there you go. So you're going to have 4 of those cards. Those are kept secret. Whichever cards aren't used will just be put back in the box. You're not going to use that for that particular game. Now, these are your branch cards. You're going to have a big stack of them like this. Then you're going to flip over the top 3 cards like so. And then whoever is the first player, we'll just say it's me, will get to pick one of those cards and place it on their trunk, and they will then score points based upon what they've placed. So what we have here is that we want to actually match up the different descriptors, if you will, because for each one that you have that actually builds like a continuous line, you'll score points for each one of those. So in this case, we have a couple of them that have that little firefly on there, and so we can take, like, say, this one, and we can go ahead and build it off of our tree in such a way that we're going to score those points. So the big thing is, remember, you can't like go like this. You can't put it below, like, you know, the card can't go below the base of your tree. Also, in later rounds, like, so you go like this, you can't build a tree that touches, or a spot that touches another card that's on there. So that would be illegal. It should be noted that you can't move a card once you've placed it. So if we had that situation where we placed that card, then we wanted to place this one, we couldn't go, well, let's just go ahead and move this guy this way, and then I'll go like this. That's not an option. You have to have some sort of a plan prior to doing it, and try to make sure that you leave enough space to add additions, and so you have to keep that in mind when you play it. Notice this is completely valid. This is valid. This is valid. This is valid. I'm sorry. This is valid. Because it's not below. You aren't forced, to build it in such a way like this or anything like that. You get to move the card around and shift it around. You can have it be further in on the tree like this if you want. You can have it right on the edge if you want. So it's up to the person that's creating the tree to do that. So in this situation, let's just go ahead and kind of build it and kind of tilt it down just a little bit, so we can kind of almost touch the base, but not quite. And let's score our points. So in this situation, you have one firefly, two fireflies, so you'd score 2 points for that. There's no continuous line for the flower or the star in this situation, but in that situation, we'd score 2 points. And so, since we are the firefly, we'll go ahead and take this little firefly, and we go up 2 points like that. Pretty simple, right? Oh, and I forgot to actually see what the spring decree was. So let's see what that is. This might actually change something. Guardians chosen. The player with the least points at the end of the season scores 1 point per player. So, if you're behind everybody else, you might get to speed up and have a shot at like gaining some points at the end. Now, I kind of like that. Then that you can't guarantee that that's always going to happen, like those little catch-up mechanics, if you will. But at least that's something that you have going for you if you don't have a really good turn. But anyway, so then we flip a card over and replace the spot that was taken. And so, other people are going to take those cards. I'm not going to go through other people's turns. And then that was the first turn, so you go to the second turn. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to build something else. Now, keep in mind, you should probably keep the idea of your Kodama cards in hand. So like this one, score 4 for each firefly or mushroom that's within 2 cards. Well, so we could, kind of go, well, we got another firefly here. So what we could do is we could build this card off of there, like so, making sure we're not, going below or anything like that. And we can go, and you can't, I should mention too, it's like when you build it, like you can't like cover up like the little icons that are on there. You can't like, do that. So you have a situation here where it's like we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And so that would score 3 points, replacing that one. And so then we replace what we have here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to let other people go. And I'm not, like I said, moving those aside. But now we don't have any more fireflies, which kind of stinks. I was kind of hoping we could keep building them with those fireflies. But, remember we have the Kodama card that we can compare. We have 2 fireflies that are 2 cards away. So right now we have 8 bonus points. If we can somehow manage to get 8 bonus points of mushrooms, or as well. So we have a couple of options here. We have 2 mushrooms and we have one with 2 flowers. Now here's the thing is, if you place this like that, this wouldn't score any points because there's a card between, even though there's a flower here and a flower there, there's a card in between those two. So that's not continuous. And we didn't get any stars or anything, so that we couldn't score that star either. That's kind of, bad luck. Now, normally what happens is that people are taking cards and, you'd have other options available, but I'm just kind of rolling here. But let's go ahead and take this one, and we're going to go ahead and place it like so. Well, no. you know. And this is one of those things that kind of stinks, where it's like you want to make sure you're not like closing off a branch. You know, it's like you want to be able to, you know, build off. But a lot of times you just don't have the option. I mean, it's just like, even though there's like, you're gonna close some off. But let's try this. We're gonna go this route, and so, but we're not gonna get any points, unfortunately, for this because we don't have anything that's a continuous line there. Because of the fact that even though there's mushrooms and flour, there's no mushroom and flour in the trunk. But let's go ahead and turn this one over. And so then we are going to have another star, which, you know, a little bit too late as far as that goes. And none of these can go up, but we can, you know, maybe take this card. And this is actually going to score us some good points here. And we're going to go like this. And so what's going to happen is we have a mushroom, mushroom, mushroom. That's worth 3. Flour, flour, flour. That's worth 3 as well. And so we would go up to 11 points with that particular card. And that, actually, I should have been moving this, but that would be the 4th turn, and we placed our 4 cards. And now we could go ahead and play our Kodama card. And, like I said, I wanted to play this one. Now, we have, within 2, we have 1, 2, 3 mushrooms and 1, 2 fireflies. And so with this card and playing it, we can score 8 bonus points for doing so. Now, it might be a situation where maybe you want to hold on to that. Maybe we could build up more later, you know, to like, you know, we'd have even more fireflies and more mushrooms. I should actually replace this and see. Oh, wow, there's 2 fireflies there. Maybe we would want to hold on to that and use it at a later time. You know, because, you know, I'm looking at the other cards here, and man, these are not, we could, you know, we could do this and just get 4 points, you know, or we could, you get 5 points for each one that's touching your feature, so we have that one firefly. But no, we probably want to hold on to, I'm going to hold on to that one. I'm actually, because I think we could probably build it up and get more points out of it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, you know, score 4 points for each star or flower that is within 2 cards of your trunk, whichever is lower. Well, we have the 1 star, even though we have several flowers. We're just going to score the 4 bonus points for that one. So we're just going to go up to 15. Then everybody else will turn in their Kodama card, and whoever has scored the lowest number of points gets this bonus from that decree, and then they are the first player for the next turn. And then you turn over the Summer Decree, which is Thrive. After placing a branch card that scores for multiple types of features, gain an extra point. So, like, you want to, like, just, not, you know, a multiple one, like this one we just did. We gain you an extra point for doing so. And you're going to do the same thing again, you know, through these 4 turns, and same thing again. You're not going to use all of your Kodama cards. You're going to have 1 left. And then, but whoever has the most points at the end of the game, obviously, then would win. They have the strongest and most powerful tree that in the forest, and they've made sure that their particular part of the forest will thrive for generations to come. So, there you go. That's Kodama. It is relatively simple to play, but it is really tricky as far as making sure that you score the maximum possible points in each particular turn. And there is a lot of decision making as far as the cards you take, because you want to take a card that helps you out a lot, but you also don't want to leave a really good card for the next player to take. So, you know, you do have some difficult decisions there. But let me talk more about that in my conclusion. Alright, thank you very much for taking the time to learn how to play Kodama and watching that portion of the video. I first got exposed to this game at Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan back in September. And I actually played the prototype that you saw right there in that video. I was very intrigued by the gameplay. I mean, I had played games like this where it's like you're taking cards and matching up things and like trying to score points and you know, getting sets basically. But I really, well, one, I love the art. The art, you know, I've seen the same artist in other games as well. That like the art just is a really big draw, and I love the fantasy appeal of it. And I really was like intrigued by the actual like growing of the tree, as I mentioned. I kind of like that aspect of it. And also after playing it once, I knew this was a game that my daughter would love to play. And so when you know the designer asked me if I would be interested in you know, doing this video, I said yes, because I basically wanted to play the game with my daughter. It was a little bit selfish of me, but you know, and we've had a lot of fun with it. And I've caught my daughter actually taking the cards out and just using them to build trees, and like to see how big of a tree and how cool of a tree she can make using the cards. And you know, and it's one of those things where this game it doesn't have a lot of interaction between the players. I mean, there is like the card selection that does kind of prevent you have difficult choices every once in a while, because like certain types of cards will be way more powerful if you let them grab them before you do. The one thing I did not mention when I showed you how to play the game is that you can't place a card that would score you more than 10 points. So that is actually like one of the really fun parts of the puzzle. I mean, anybody can just say, oh look, I matched up 17 mushrooms in a row, give me 17 points. Any person could do that. But the trick is to be placing cards that get you as close to 10 points and without going over, basically. And I apologize for not mentioning that. That's actually like a really big part of the game. So anyway, getting back to the process, this is one of those games that, because it's so easy to teach, it is neat that it is as infuriating as it is. I mean, it just seems like whenever I was playing it, it's like it's like you want, like, I sort of just give me a card with a mushroom on it, give me a card with some clouds on it, please, 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 and it just seems like that card never comes up. But then that also is very inspiring and very, very fun, because of the fact that it forces you to switch gears and grind on the clutch a little bit and figure out a different method, a different way, a different path that you can take to try to get your points as well. And I'm kind of thankful that Kodama doesn't just hand you the points that easily. I mean, I think the game would still be fun. It would be perfect for families and perfect for like me and my daughter to play if it was on the easier scale. But I like that it is challenging in the fact that like you can't just rely on that perfect card showing up to like string that match together. And plus that, like I said, that limiter of 10 points forces you, actually, even if you manage to get those really good cards and like makes it the game just kind of spells it out for you, you can't rely on that either, because of the fact that you're just going to have to stop what you're doing and then redistribute the cards and start going in a different direction, because that patchwork of branches just can't possibly score you any more points, just because of the fact that you've taken it as far as it can go. And for that reason, I mean, the artwork, the fact that like I can play it with my family, and the fact that it is challenging enough for my gaming group as well, I've just really enjoyed Kodama a great deal. So if you like games with kind of like this kind of fantasy appeal, but also that aren't, this game doesn't have like a take that element. It doesn't have you're not really butting heads with other people. So if you like a garden game, and if you watch my videos, you know what I mean. If you like that, like and I realize that it is a bit of a multiplayer solitaire, but if you enjoy those types of games where you and the other people are just racing to do make the best tree you possibly can, then I think you're really going to enjoy this one. And like I said, it is one of those games where you get to build something, and I'm always a big fan of games where like after I'm done playing, I can look and we can compare. It's like, oh, look at my tree and look at your tree, and you can kind of look at your different what you were able to create, and you can kind of see the game evolve, and then like and you can see the story of the game that you just played just by looking at your creation once you're done. And I really like that. I like that in games. So there you go. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions about Kodama, please go ahead and ask those. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. As always, this is Undead Viking, and I'm telling you, until next time, to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.